Last year, I announced that I would be working with Sezane consistently throughout the year, and I have just adored every one of their collections. It just seems to get better and better as far as all the things you already know I love, like their packaging, and then that signature fragrance when you open up a piece, and then just the level of creativity and quality that goes into each collection. And it just makes me want to keep shopping each one of their collections because every one seems to just be a perfect blend somewhere between my personal style and their style. And so it's been such an amazing opportunity to be able to work with them so frequently, and also to just help you with your shopping choices where you're able to decide what are my reviews of which ones I absolutely think you should keep. And with that said, I wanted today's video to be a bit more of a collection of the whole year, of which pieces are my timeless picks that are still available for you today, and I just also wanted to include some pieces from their newest collection. So there's a lot, so I'm going to run through them fairly quickly, and for reference I'll leave links down below as well as my body measurements and the size I purchased. First off is the Will jacket. As a collection, I would say just any Will jacket I want to include right now. But this one in particular is one where I think it's incredibly versatile moving from winter into early spring, because while the inside of it is lined with fleece from the vest point of view, it isn't going to be something where you have to keep the fleece collar on because that's detachable. So that's just amazing. But I also like Will jackets because of their big pockets and just how versatile they are. They're just amazing as a layering piece. But they're all pretty much lighter in weight than some of their truer like coats that they offer. Next is the Valerio jacket. This is just a bit beyond a cardigan. It's a true jacket because of the weight of it. It's a blend of merino wool and cotton, and it's very boxy in its design, but it can be opened up and shown like with a cami underneath if you want to. But it just feels like one of those incredible like vintage chic style pieces that anybody from a past decade would have worn, so I definitely want to include it in my style as well. Next is this black lace bodysuit. I have loved this one black lace blouse from years ago. I've gotten so many compliments, so I wanted to try this version, and it's incredibly versatile because I can wear it underneath some of the more like v-neck cardigans and sweaters, or I could wear it with something underneath it as far as like either another cami or even a triangle bra would be really great. But this was definitely something I was drawn to, and I just ripped the tags off immediately. I'm like, this is mine. I also wanted to, just as a blanket statement, say any sort of sweater that has the lace collar is something truly Sezane to me. And it's just so different than if I would buy a regular like sweater, just a black basic sweater, because it has that level of detail. And because this is merino wool, I won't have to wash it very frequently because merino wool just preserves itself very well. Next is a Sezane shirt that has a ton of ruffles along it as well as pleats, and I really suggest that not only year round, but right now when you have a jacket or coat that you're working with where maybe this type of layering piece is only seen a little bit. It has all of the details right there. And then I just do love this as a shirt itself because of the pleats, but also the tiny polka dots. Everything about it is adorable, but yet not too sweet. It's very like feminine, and I like to have that collar open a bit. And yeah, just the way that it lays, the way that they even pucker the sleeves up a little bit so it creates a tiny bit of volume there is really great. Next is this blouse, which is also a sheer item. It's very trendy right now to have these sheer pieces, and Zach was just blown away. He couldn't stop complimenting me in this piece. So I think it's excellent for a date night. If you have a date night coming up, I would definitely suggest this one. But it doesn't have to be just that. Like I could wear this to an office if I layer with it just right. And so this one is excellent because anytime you're working with this much texture is beautiful, but also the lace adds so much femininity, and it's a contrast to how geometric everything is with the crisscross like squares, and then also the shape of it is a little bit on the boxier side. So it's not like staying there because you can see underneath it. So those were all the things I love about this one, and the navy color just really works for my skin tone. This Bethany cardigan I've had technically more than a year, but I actually just wore it last night, so I haven't like quite cleaned it up for you guys, but I was like around a campfire and it worked perfectly as another layering piece. I'm using that word layering piece a lot because of just this time of year, and I want these pieces to be so versatile, and just having this much of this top under my jacket showing was perfect. And I love the crochet buttons as well as the neckline. And here again, this feels very chic and classic. It's more of a chic take on something that looks very like feminine and almost innocent. I would say depending on the outfit, you could really style this in a way that feels true to you. Next is the Andrew coat, and you would have seen me wear a leopard version in my last video. That one has gotten so much use between then and now, and so adding another color of something that is an incredible piece makes a lot of sense to me. And this one I would use in a different scenario. So whereas the leopard works in a ton of different outfits and styles, I feel like this one is more reserved for things that are more delicate or things where I will be quite neat when I'm wearing it because I don't want it to get dirty. But I've always sort of worn these ivory big coats as long as I can remember since like middle school, and it's just something that I think is something I feel very comfortable in, and chic and elevated, and then having something that isn't like a cool white but actually more ivory works on my skin tone as well. Next is this new cardigan that is a blend of kid mohair and merino wool, if I remember right. And I actually styled it with their sleeveless top, but you can wear it with a cami or anything like that. But the material of both the sleeveless top and this are the same. And another thing I wanted to point out is just the ribbon lining for these buttons really keeps the buttons from not deteriorating. Like once that buttonhole is too wide, it's not going to work anymore. So by having something that makes the buttons stay in place and probably a little bit tightly at first is a really good thing. This one is a lot more cropped up than a lot of the other cardigans. So it's not a piece you tuck in as much as one that you wear to sort of highlight your curves below. Next is the DITA jumper. This one is another navy piece, and what I like about it is it's basically a tee, like something that's a long sleeve tee, only it's a little bit more on the knit side, the way that it's ribbed and basically woven together to create some really unique details. And of course they're going to add a little bit of buttons right here on the sleeve, which just is beautiful underneath a jacket. Like if that pops out, it looks so good. And then obviously I just love the details in it, but it's not very thick. Like this one's very thin. This is the thinnest piece that I'll be showing out of anything today, I'm pretty sure, besides the lace bodysuit. Another piece that I had in my last video was a leopard jacket very similar to this, but just for curiosity, I wanted to try both lengths to see which one I recommend. And I like both of them a whole lot, but this one is great if you want it to look a little bit more vintage, and I am a curvy girl, so I really wanted to figure out which one I like the best. I would probably say I prefer the length of this one, but I am keeping both and plan to use them for different scenarios. This is a very thick fabric. Like I think that anytime that they've got a cardigan that is really thick, they're calling it a jacket. And it's a very, like, it feels very much like wool, so just know that, but it's also incredibly like soft. And I just love the fact of incorporating leopard right now because it adds a lot of personality to a neutral. And so that's why I liked it originally, but this one feels so 60s, and so I just sort of like went and took that further to something where I was styling it in a way that is even more 60s. And I want to just kind of play with that idea and make me feel like a retro queen. I'm including this MAHA jumper because while this color is new to me, I've had it in other colors, and I love having a square neckline of any kind, and this one has more of a sweetheart version of that. And so it is more thick than the navy shirt I showed earlier. So it is like quite more like a sweater, but it's also very much just like a long sleeve tee. It's almost to the tee level of how light it is. And I also just like the way that they knit it together is something that's supposed to like complement your curves. And I love that so much. So this is more of a thicker piece if you want something that will work that's just as comfortable as sleepwear, but it has that perfect feminine fit. Speaking of sweater dresses, this is the HAWA dress. I don't actually wear too many dresses. I just feel like if I have a few perfect ones, that's all I need, and I consider this one to be the dress I would recommend wearing from Sezane. It has a lot of the same features from this sweater before. It's almost identical. This is the dress version of that pretty much. But I do think that having a sweater version is great for this time of year. I have a black dress that isn't sweater material, and I would rather wear something like this so I'm a little bit warmer. But this one isn't too short, it's not too long, so wearing it on a date night is just as foreseeable as something more formal that I might wear like an opaque tight with. So this is incredible if you need a sweater dress, that little black dress that everybody needs in their closet. Okay, the berry cardigan, I have worn one of these since probably 2017 in one color or another, but this one is new to me, a brand new one. I feel like if you haven't shopped from Sezane before, you need to try the berry cardigan. It's also modeled as a reversible piece. So you can wear it like this, or you can wear it to where that's in the back and it's more of a boat neck. And that's really great because then it has these buttons that just make it look very beautifully styled and very intentional, and just like that who is she woman. That's what this piece feels like to me. So it is worn to be fastened up because of the neckline, and I swear, like, please own one of these if you haven't shopped there before. Or if you have and you don't own it, like, you should have a berry cardigan in my mind. Next is the suede will jacket. So specifically this one, if you like suede, because I've been able to wear it for years, and I love it. It just patinas with age and time and wear, and it's been very durable because of the way that they've constructed the buttons. It really hasn't lost its shape, or even if it did, I think it would just patina it more. It feels like a retro rocker thing to me, but it depends on how you style it personally. But I had to throw in specifically this suede one, and also just the scent of it is wonderful. For those who like suede, you're gonna love this piece. And this last piece is this cardigan that I got in ecru first, and then once the black one came out, I rushed to go get it. So I had to include this one. It has a square neckline, but it also can be unbuttoned right here at the top. And it just creates a little bit of a V right here, which I think is incredibly flattering and beautiful, but you could have it completely buttoned up too if you want to. So it's designed to be fastened up. You can tell how contoured it is, and the knit is very similar to the navy sweater before, only, okay, so this one is about the same density. So this one isn't necessarily the thinnest. This one's tied for it. But it's just a completely different fit than this one from before. So just some context there. But this one just has to be something that I would wear with any sort of skirt or any pair of jeans. This piece is such a killer. I feel like such a knockout when I wear it, and it's just, this one I feel like you'd feel incredible in. And I really like these tighter fitting tops right now, as well as my body style has changed a little bit. And with that, I guess I just want to wrap up and say thank you again to Sezane for being my sponsor this time. I'm so humbled by it for working together for a year, and I know you guys absolutely love it. So that's really my intention for bringing these to you today. If you like it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and use the links down below, as that would help you, and it also helps this channel to just keep the lights on. And I'll see you in the new year. I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but I am. So I'll see ya.